Hey guys, how are you doing? And how is it possible that I'm speaking to you from a screen again when I was just there with you? I can't believe this, but we're going to be live here in Hawaii tomorrow, so I'm excited for that. Got a new microphone. I hope you guys can hear me okay. I thought about a change that we made a long time ago in Tricked Out Accessories that actually, at the time, you guys would be surprised to know that at the time we actually got resistance. Who has been around long enough to remember when we had no refund policy? And what an exciting time that was to be a Tricked Out Accessories sales rep, and sometimes to have to call security. We had a protocol, it's like call security, get the people kicked out of the mall if they're threatening you with physical harm. And so, we've made some positive changes through the years, but when we first brought up that change, we actually got resistance. You guys might be surprised, or you might remember that, but there were people who thought, well, what about the sales that we're gonna lose when we have to give the refunds? And it seemed like, some people might lose money. And so, sometimes we just have to take a step back and take a temporary sacrifice to keep the bigger picture in mind. Because could you guys imagine what our Google reviews would be like today, and what kind of reputation would we have in customer service would we be known for if we hadn't made those changes back then? Think about this in context of your life, and just think if there's any changes now when you think into your future, what you want to do, be, have. Think about the small things that you're doing every day. Like, are your actions, what do you do when you first wake up in the morning, and what are your habits like? And just ask yourself if your habits are congruent with your goals. Are your daily practices helping you to accomplish those goals that we talked about last month? So you guys know how to make smart written goals. Now I want to talk about how to put the goals into the context of planning, and how goals and planning used together can create you success in any area of life. And I just want you to think of your life right now in context of the goals that you've set. Are you on track for those? And are there changes to be made? Having goals, having written goals, does presuppose that you know what you want. So assuming that you know what you want and you have written goals, then we're going to talk about the next steps. But if you don't know what you want yet, or you need to clarify your goals, we're going to have a small part to talk about that as well. Once you've accomplished step one, and you're really good at making smart goals, you know what you want, you've got your 3 most important intentions, what you're mainly focused on, your top 3 for the year. Once you have an idea of short-term goals, like daily goals and small things and habits, and then weekly goals, what do you want to accomplish this week, yearly goals, and then long-range goals as well. So once you have the goal, that's step 1. Let's talk about step 2.
Tip number 2 is really simple. It's just to have a plan. Create a vision for yourself, because most people, the average person in the world, is reactive, and they kind of like, maybe they wake up in the morning and they don't know what they're going to do, but they just wait for things to happen during the day that they then react to. But that kind of person, you're just not going to have direction, right? If you're just going to be knocked around by circumstances all your life. So you want to always have a plan. You want to have a plan for your day that's created the day before. You want to have a plan for your week. You want to kind of have a plan for your month, and then you want to have a plan for your year. And you want to have a plan for like a 3 to 5 year long-term plan. This one kind of assumes that you know what you want. So you have goals that you can set, and you can put those goals into your future and kind of have a timeline. If you don't yet know what you want and you haven't evaluated your values, you could do homework like what I'm going to be doing this next week. This is homework from my coach, where you guys could do this as well at home. So make a list of 100 things that you want in life. You just write them all down. You have to do 100, because it doesn't work if you only do 20. So getting specific, write down all the things you want, all the things that you want in life, make a list of 100. Then you put them into categories. Note if it's a spiritual goal, does this go in the spiritual department of life? Mental department, like your mind, learning? Is this emotional, like emotional resourcefulness, being able to eliminate negative emotions and be able to experience and create positive emotions? Or is this a physical goal, like a health goal, or like something that you want to have? Okay, so then once you've done all that, you narrow your list down to the top 10 things that you want to achieve in the next 12 months. Okay, then once you've done that, you create an action plan for your top 3. So after you've narrowed this list of 100 things down to your top 10 that you want this year, then you pick the 3 things that if you could only get 3 things done this year to make it a really good and a successful year, what would those 3 things be? And then take massive action and get to work on your top 3. So that's something you can do if you don't have, but what you want to do is know yourself, know what makes you happy, and decide what you want to have in life. Sometimes it's like you can probably have anything you want, but you might not be able to have everything you want, right? So you might have to make certain choices. So you want to know yourself, know what makes you happy, and start, even if you get a goal, and then you realize you didn't want the goal, you still get the experience of achieving that. So I think having things to look forward to and having things to give you a reason to push yourself a little bit, to give you a reason to become better, I think it's just really healthy to be, just really having that, like, how are the actions that I'm taking right now going to affect me in a year? Because you'll think differently when you're deciding if you're going to have an apple as a snack or a muffin. Like, neither one of them is going to make that much difference in this moment, and you're not going to gain a lot of weight if you eat the muffin or lose, if you eat the apple or whatever. But when you start thinking of long term, you start thinking, oh, but yeah, I had a muffin yesterday. Maybe, you start thinking long term, and you're like, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. I don't know, that's what my mom used to tell me. So you want to keep a vision of your successful future self in your mind, and you want to know what that looks like. What does my successful self look like in a month from now? Where do I want to be in a year from now? And where do I want to be maybe in 3 or 5 years from now? Think of the future and prepare for things and set yourself up for success. Remember to be flexible, because life does happen and things do change, and you'll frustrate yourself if you're so rigid that you can't, kind of adapt as things go, because this is how it is. If I had, when I started Tricked Out Accessories, I can't tell you the amount of problems that came that was just like, just give up, but you adapt to things. I don't let something be like, oh, I guess that's it. I guess this isn't going to work, but it's like, well, what now? What do we do now? And you got to keep yourself in a positive mindset, or you'll never be able to come up with the ideas that will solve those problems that you find yourself in. That's what's such a bummer, is when you get pushed down by some circumstance in life, it's so easy to get mentally defeated. And a lot of times that's what really keeps us down. Things happen, but you can always rebuild. So the thing is just to never give up in your mind, though, and never give up on your goals. All right, tip number 3 is just be willing to do the things that make you better than average, right? So I started talking about this a little bit, and I really recommend, if you haven't read it, to read The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. It really gives you an idea of kind of like the same way as compounding interest works. When you start working daily to improve yourself in all these small ways, they just lead into massive circumstances that you see later, and then other people see you in these circumstances later, and they're like, oh, must be nice, and they're not. They just nobody ever appreciates all the work that went into, you just appreciate the big events when something happens. But so just be willing to do things that take you outside of your comfort zone a little bit. Be willing to put yourself out there. Be willing to work and to go for it and to try to improve. Because those are the kind of things, if you just will do the small things that are a little bit uncomfortable, other people are not willing to do those. Other people's mind that are not trained will avoid those things, and that gives you such a huge advantage. You're gonna have no problem competing out there in the world if you're just willing to work a little bit. Honestly, I wish I had a tip that could get us out of hard work, but at the end of the day, all of these mental things and all these things that we can do to train our mind is to get us to take the action that leads to the results that we want. Here's some examples of these little things that we need to practice daily. These are easy to forget and easy to lose the habit, but totally worth keeping the habit. These are the kind of things that you'll see the results from after you've done them for a while. So how do you start your day, for example? I recommend starting with intention and starting out with a plan. So do you have a plan for how you're going to train your mind just to deal with life? Like mental health, and especially after this last year and all this pandemic nonsense, mental health is going to be a real issue. And if we're not working consciously on keeping our mental health good, I don't think that the average person is just going to have great mental health in the future. But one thing you can do every single day that totally works is meditation. And I know that I've talked about this before. However you meditate, there's like a million good ways to meditate. By the way, nobody has an excuse not to meditate. Everybody has the time to do it. And they say, if you don't have 20 minutes to meditate, you best take an hour, because meditation's so important. It depends on what you're going to make a must for you. How are you going to evaluate this? It's so easy to skip but I would rather skip eating a meal than meditation, for example, because to me, if I'm in a rush in the morning and I'm going to miss breakfast or meditation, I'd rather miss breakfast, because I need my mind to be working right and I don't want to lose momentum. So if you can, I would recommend having some type of meditation that involves relaxation. If you want ideas for meditations, there's free ones. I can give you links from YouTube. The Tony Robbins priming activity is a great kind of a priming type of meditation. It's really good. I can link to that. We have Vishen Lakhiani's 6 or 7 stage meditation. I can't remember, but it's also very good because each stage has a purpose that you should try to hit somehow, however you do this. I know there's apps. There's one called Headspace, and then there's one called Waking Up. And there's probably a million other good resources for meditation. And there's a million effective ways. The most important thing about doing meditation is just to sit down and do it. If all you do is sit down and stay still and relax for like 10 minutes a day, your mind will be more trained and you'll get benefit just from that, because you'll be able to have like an anchor that you can come back to. If a stressful situation comes, at least you had a moment that morning where you were completely relaxed. And it's interesting that your mind can go back to that. Like you can go back to that and feel how you felt when you're relaxed and be able to deal with a more resourceful emotional state in the face of a problem. That happens to me all the time. But if you want to be even better in meditation, make sure to include gratitude. I think on my homework here, did I skip this? Oh yeah, the next thing is the gratitude challenge. Write a list of 100 things that you're grateful for. The point is, have a way to practice gratitude. That's one of the most important things that I do when I sit down in meditation, is to just think of all of the simple things that I'm grateful for in my life, the people around me, and how grateful I am for those. Just even to have a place to live, and even to be in a, I'm really happy to live in America compared to what I'm seeing some of my friends in other countries go through. And so I think of those things and I really feel grateful. Sometimes I'm just grateful that the sun's out, or sometimes it is something really big and exciting that happened. But a lot of times I just choose to really take appreciation for the small things in life. So I would use gratitude in any meditation, and I'd also use creative visualization. That's probably the most powerful technique that I know of for really creating your future. Another daily practice is just take care of your physical health. We've got to take care of our bodies. We've got to take care of ourselves just in general. We need to take care of our mental and emotional health. And so this includes being patient with ourselves. Not everybody does have the same body and have the same health conditions. And I'm not saying, I would never use anybody's excuse, or I would never accept anybody's excuse for why they can't improve their health, because I know everybody can improve their health if they want to, but it depends on what you value. Some people make the excuse that they value family above their health. I just had a friend say that he made a really important decision because he just decided his health wasn't that important to him, but his family was. Like, some people make the excuse that they value their family more than their health. And so there's just not enough time, like after work, I need to go spend time with my family because that's what's more important, right? Family first. Okay, sure, yeah, family's important. But how, I have to question people that still put others above their own health, because I've seen people that work so hard and neglect their health, and they do all these things for other people until they just run out. Because when you don't take care of your body and you don't take care of your health, it's not going to be there for you. Your mind's not going to work the way that you want it to when you need to deal with problems and situations in life, even including family problems or whatever else. You're just going to be so much better for other people if you can keep your mind and body healthy. So, the first thing, just, watching what you eat, seeing, planning. That, again, if you plan, people are reactive with food. It's all of a sudden you're hungry, I need to eat right now. There's not a lot of options open, right? But that's no excuse like, oh, it just takes too long to cook or whatever. I know there's excuses for everything, and I'm not saying that they're not true. I'm just saying they're going to stop you from getting what you want. You could always wake up early before the kids are awake and go to the gym if it's really important to you. You can always meal prep and plan a little bit ahead if it's important to you. But you got to decide, decide what's important to you so that you can live a life that really makes you happy. And be patient with yourself too. If you're like, it's just a decision, dude, like once you just decide to start working out, you just need to do it. Like if you tell yourself things like that, you're going to feel like, oh, well, I guess I'm just lazy or something else. But it's not like that. And I guarantee everybody's struggling with their own things. So I just want to put in there again to be really patient and really kind to yourself. And remember that you're in a relationship with yourself, at least with your unconscious mind, where you need to treat yourself in a good way. If you want to feel good and you want to feel like you respect yourself, you have to treat yourself with respect. Another thing you should do daily, a daily thing, is to practice emotional resiliency. Practice controlling the only thing that we should control. This is what I learned in Peru. And I love this. The only thing, we want to control everything in our lives, right? But the only thing that we should be working to control, the only thing we really can control, and the only thing we should control, is our emotions and the way that we react to situations. And so I really want to encourage you to become conscious every day and to think, how did I do today? How am I doing with my emotional state? Am I in control of myself, or are circumstances and other people pushing my buttons and triggering and controlling me? Am I feeling the way I want to in life? And if not, what can I do? What can I do about that? So what are you learning? What are you working on this year? Don't expect to do everything in one day, right? Like you can't master all of life in one day. So take little parts and decide, what do I want to get better on by next month? What do I really want to master this year? And then be patient with yourself and do the small things that get small progress every day, but dedicate yourself on that. Never stop learning, never stop being curious about how things work, including yourself. The more you learn about yourself, the more you'll understand, and you can really just have this awesome relationship of being able to deal with yourself, knowing that you're not perfect, but completely loving yourself and loving the experience of being alive and having the ability to learn and grow and have this human experience. See, these are the kind of things that anybody could do every single day. Anybody can take a few minutes for meditation and a few minutes to think about what makes them grateful and what they're creating in their life and what their future looks like, and creating a picture of that and being able to visualize achieving goals. And everybody can take time to plan out meals, learn about health, and do some basic exercise to keep your body strong. And everybody can become conscious and pay attention to their emotions and work on controlling themselves and their reactions instead of trying to control other people. Everybody can do these things, but most people just are not willing to. And I'm telling you, that's all that separates successful people from unsuccessful people, is a lot of times, or the unsuccessful people tried meditation for like a week, and then they're like, I don't think that really works for me. You can always be negative and cynical and just be like, oh, that stuff doesn't work. But then there's going to be a bunch of other people out there that are living it and that are showing the example that it works. All right, and number 5 thing to work on is just to become conscious of your focus and to really understand it, because most of the time our minds are just going, they're thinking and things are happening, and we never really take time to become conscious, like, wow, and just observe how your mind is working and what's happening. So especially when this comes to things that we focus on, because like you guys always know, I'm teaching to be at cause, which I'm still teaching it in this lesson too, to be at cause and to learn to focus on what you want. But for this lesson, I'm gonna say you need to really, really make sure that you're focusing on the things that you can control.
That's right. So focus on the things that you can control, and the only thing that you really can and should control, because trying to control your circumstances in life will drive you crazy, or controlling another person. So the only thing really that you can control and that you should control is your emotions and how you react to things. You can control the goals that you set and where your intentions are going to be, what kind of actions you're going to take. You control how you respond to life by making a plan and becoming intentional with what you aim to accomplish. And how you focus on things, controlling your thoughts, it's such a discipline. So I just want you to think of one slight edge habit that you could apply into your life in the context of what we've learned, or just some change, anything that came to mind. Make a note of something so you can have a conscious focus of improving that, because as you do these little things, you will become the type of person that you want. If you know where you're headed and you set goals that are aligned with your purpose and what really fulfills you and makes you happy, you're gonna have an awesome life, and this is what I want for you. I really hope you're able to put these into practice in your life, because I know the difference that they can make. And this will make a difference to you that blesses your team and your family and all the people around you. This will make a difference as you turn your focus inward and improve yourself in the way that you set an example to other people by not judging, but by understanding and showing compassion and only working to improve yourself with kindness and love. So anyway, have a good rest of the meeting, and I love you guys. I'll see you back soon.